Welcome to the Cold Standoff Podcast, where values clash. Today on the show, we have two great leaders of two superpower nations, John F. Kennedy representing the USA and Nikita Khrushchev representing the Soviet Union.
First off, I'd like to say thanks for having me on the show. I know good old Nick over here would rather I not speak with I'm hating free speech and all.
That's how you want to start, huh? You little животное.
Whoa,
I just want to start off by mentioning that the Soviet Union has had a profound impact on the world. Their technological advancement has been nothing short of amazing. Getting the first man to space is no small feat after all. However, we're confident in our program and we know for a fact that we're going to be the first on the moon.
You're quite funny. We were the first in space, and yet you still try to assure yourself that you're great. Your capitalist program is not helping at all. Communism is clearly superior. I mean, look at Cuba.
Wait, hold on. Wait, give me a sec. Speaking of Cuba, Khrushchev, what exactly are you planning to do with them? Hmm?
Cuba? We support Cuba as they align with our vision of a great nation. The more we have, the closer we are to a great world.
Your policies are, first of all, terrible. Secondly, does a great world involve one where everyone has missiles?
Well, what missiles? I've no idea what you're talking about. You're just making up stories now, Kennedy. We have every right to support our allies. Cuba is sovereign, and we are simply ensuring that they have the means to defend themselves. I'm not aware of any missiles, though.
You're seriously going to pretend like you didn't secretly ship nuclear missiles to Cuba? We found them right under our noses. Nick, I'd say that's a little more than just defense. It's a direct and personal threat that we cannot simply glance over.
We're just protecting our allies. You have missiles in Turkey, too. Don't forget that.
Well, yeah, but we didn't place them right next to your border. You're threatening the safety of our entire world by having nuclear weapons right in our backyard. We had no choice but to act.
You act like we're the only ones playing this game. You think you're the only superpower. It's all about the balance, John.
that's a wrap on today's fascinating discussion between the leaders of two of the most powerful superpowers. A rather intense debate. That's what makes this history so compelling, wouldn't you say? Welcome back, everyone. You're tuning into the Cold Standoff, and we're so glad to have you back with us today for another deep dive. It's been a while, but we're back and ready to tackle another day of an interesting chapter of our history. Today, we're joined by the U.S. President John F. Kennedy and the Soviet Premier Nikita Khrushchev once again.
Happy to be here, though I can't say I'm thrilled to see Nakata after everything that's happened over the past week.
Well, Kennedy, I'm sure you've been busy. Seems like you've had your hands full with your little quarantine situation.
It's more than just a quarantine, Nakata. It's about ensuring that we're safe. We've got missiles pointing at us, and I say that's pretty fair to say that we're not thrilled about it.
Ah, yes, the missiles. At first I tried to reassure you. I sent you a letter on October the 18th, didn't I? We have no intention of provoking the United States, I said. But as usual, you decided to stir the pot.
Stir the pot? We are worried for our national safety. Florida, what, minutes away from the missile strike from Cuba? Don't test us. You know how strong our missiles are, too. The least we could do is quarantine Cuba.
Look now, Kennedy. You and I both know that our missiles are faster and stronger. This is an act of aggression. You strangle the voice of the people. The people in Cuba have been freed from cruel, unfair capitalism run by selfish, uncaring leaders. We are merely trying to protect them from you.
Oh my god, how long are you going to go on and on and on about capitalism? You're living in a world of delusion, Nakata.
You know what? Let me call Fidel. Let me see his perspective on this. Oi, host, call Fidel.
Who is Fidel?
Fidel Castro, you imbecile. Okay, Fidel, enough. I'm on a talk show with a Yankee, Kennedy. He has stationed a quarantine on your shipment of missiles. How do you feel about this?
How can you do that? Those Americans always trying to instill power over small nations. They tried once with their big pigs, and now, when we seek protection, they challenge us?
Okay, we really don't need to bring that up. What are we supposed to do? A democratic government falls and communism rises? We can't have that.
Come on, you see, he's in complete shambles. Kennedy, you instill nothing but more fear into an innocent nation.
Save it. You only want destruction in this beautiful God given world. You want to take us over, and it's not happening.
If you truly believe that, then get rid of your missiles in Turkey. We'll do the same for Cuba. That's a reasonable deal. I demand you, on behalf of the Soviet nation, you remove the bombs from Turkey.
Demanding as always, huh, Nikata? Have some diplomacy.
It's been a ride the past couple days. Nakata, John, thanks for having you back on the show. We're so happy to.
Gonna have to interrupt you there, fella. Nikata, what the have you been doing?
What? What do you mean? We haven't done anything.
Don't act dumb. We saw your ships come towards our naval blockade. Tensions have been rising, Nikata. We have begun armament, along with reinforcements of the Guatemala Bay naval base. Do you really want to come forth with this attack?
America's not so invincible now, is it? I can see you're nearly at your breaking point. But hey, we backed off.
And you talk about not being invincible. Face it, Nikata, we both don't want this to happen. This could have been all prevented if you simply didn't supply Cuba.
Here you go, on and on. You're still forgetting that this is all because of your missiles in Europe, like Turkey, and your puny invasion. What is it? The Bay of Pigs? Your harmful capitalist influence has been so major, but you still target us and our supportive nations. You truly are the villain. Stop your quarantine on Cuba immediately.
Be reasonable, Nakata. Your Cuban guys are right beside us, actively giving them nuclear weapons. There was definitely something fishy going on. We just need more information on these missile sites to make sure everything is stable and not against our favor.
Do you realize how stupid you sound?
No, I mean, it's for national safety.
If you think any nation is going to give you its classified information, then you're wrong. It's for their safety. Not everything's about you.
Fine by me. Hold on, what? One of our planes was shot down in Cuba by your people. The Soviets shot our plane.
Soka. What the hell are you doing in our airspace?
Well,
Oh, I understand. It's your spies. Your heinous spies. Don't act smart with me. You were just talking about surveillance in Cuba. You know what? I'm good on them. Shooting down a spy plane is completely fair game.
and you talk about not being invincible. Face it, Nikata, we both don't want this to happen. This could have been all prevented if you simply didn't supply Cuba.
Oh, I understand. It's your spies. Your heinous spies. Don't act smart with me. You were just talking about surveillance in Cuba. You know what? I'm good on them. Shooting down a spy plane is completely fair game. Good evening, comrade. What is it? Are you serious?
Surely this is disrespectful. Half the conversation had just been us on our phone.
John, you truly are pretentious. Always trying to make yourself look good for the public. Anyways, this is not good. One of our submarines has been hit, and as of right now, all we know is that the submarine that was hit is carrying nuclear missiles that may be sent out at the approval of their three executives.
Oh, you can't be serious, Nakata. We take you down with us. The Soviets will be no more.
The world will be no more.
God, I knew we'd be arguing, but I never expected it to come to this.
Comrade, what's the status? Really? You're serious? Thank you, comrade. Thank you. Well, thank you.
What? What is it?
It's done. No missiles. You can stop sweating, John.
Glad to hear it, but don't act like you did me a favor, Nakata. You lit this place on fire in the first place.
Fire? You attacked Cuba and put missiles in Turkey first, aiming at my country's heart and its beautiful ideology. What did you expect? Flowers?
Those were defensive, meant to counter threats like this. But let's cut the posturing. The world's on edge, and neither of us can afford to push this any further.
Perhaps. So what do you propose, President?
You pull your missiles and troops out of Cuba or remove ours from Turkey quietly, no parades, no grandstanding.
Quietly, yes. But you must understand, this is not surrender. It's pragmatism.
Fine by me, but make no mistake, this doesn't make us allies.
And so are we. The UN can oversee the withdrawals. Neither of us trust the other, but they can ensure we both keep our word.
Fine by me, but make no mistake, this doesn't make us allies.
And so are we. The UN can oversee the withdrawals. Neither of us trust the other, but they can ensure we both keep our word. Fidel, you should thank me. We just avoided the end of the world.
Oh!
The end of the world? You mean you avoided it? I was ready to fight for Cuba's survival. Fight? With nuclear weapons flying in every direction? Do you know what that would mean? Not just Cuba, not just the USSR or the USA. The entire planet would have gone up in flames. So instead, you retreat, and now Cuba stands alone. What happens when the Americans decide to invade next time? Won't. That's why I made the deal. No invasions, Fidel. Your revolution is safe. Safe? They'll never stop trying to crush us. And now I look like I back down. Do you know how that feels? I know how it feels to be called weak by my own people. But better weak than dead. If we hadn't pulled back, there wouldn't even be a Havana to defend. And yet I'm the one who lives next door to the Yankees. Not you. For you, this is strategy. For me, it's survival. And survival is exactly what we achieved. Look, Fidel, I understand your frustration, but a nuclear war wouldn't have spared anyone. Not Cuba, not the USSR, not even the fish in the sea. Maybe. But next time, Nikita, remember that Cuba isn't just a pawn in your Cold War games. No pawns, Fidel, only allies. And allies keep each other alive. Let's hope we don't have to prove that again. That's all we've ever been, Nikita. A small pawn. An island off the Caribbean that no one really cares about. I know the US will be back, but the question is, will you be there next time to protect us?